Dane, what's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Oh, great. Man, I'm excited. I'm barely able to stay in my chair. It's a great
I
night.
know. I'm speechless because I got two of our. No, we usually get one hero, Dane, but tonight we got three. I can't
Yeah.
count that high. We got three heroes tonight, Dane. So first off, ladies first. I got our friend Anna from She Strength. Anna, how you doing, friend?
Doing great.
Oh, awesome! I'm so glad to have you. And then, of course, my mentor at this point and just one of the best looking guys in Nevada, Nick Best. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Josh. Thanks. Good to
So
see
good to
you and
see you.
Dan again.
Yeah, man, we're excited, man. Tonight's a special night, and Nick, your background in sports medicine, and Anna, yours as well. We thought it was so fitting to bring us all together for this special Tuesday, Super Tuesday edition. Dane and I are blessed to have tracked down the Maverick herself. UFC's so vital and part of the culture these days, and especially female athletes. Obviously, Anna, with what you're doing, and Nick, the way you advocate female athletes as well. It's just a joy that we're able to track down the one and only Miranda Maverick. So I don't want to waste any time. I want to get right down to it and bring on our dear friend Miranda. Miranda, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
It's an honor.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes. So Miranda, obviously we watched your fights. Congrats on your success. Going 13-2 in this world of athleticism is amazing. Can't wait to see more of what you do. Dane, Anna, Nick, and I have some questions for you that we want to present to you. We all have a few that we want to kind of run past you throughout the year. So I'm going to kick it off. Anna, ladies first, if you will. Anna's got a
All right.
couple for you if you want to run first. So Anna, go ahead.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so I noticed that I think you had 1 year anniversary with your spouse recently. So congratulations. That's exciting. So my question is, I have trained at different levels over the years, while I've been married. And so my husband and I's relationship differs as training differs. So I was curious, one, what your personalities are like. Like, I'm guessing you're pretty alpha female and like dominant and like a go-getter. Then is your husband that way, or is he more opposite, like quieter, more reserved type of personality?
Honestly, finding a relationship for me, I thought was going to be harder than it was. I took a long time to start dating. I was one of those kids and teenagers that I grew up very conservative. My dad was very protective, and not just that, but I grew up to the point where I was like, if I want to act like an adult, I need to be an adult, pay for things like an adult. So my first dates, I was like 21 years old, and we laugh because my brother just got married this weekend, and my brother and sister are going to be married at a younger age than I had my first date.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So kind of crazy.
Wow.
I met my husband on online dating, actually, off of a bet that I basically lost to a male friend because I didn't want to go on online dating because I was already a professional fighter, and I was like, all I'm going to get is a bunch of creeps or people who want to date me. I'm a fighter.
Right.
This stuff. And so she made me the profile, didn't say anything about fighting, all that. And I met him, and he didn't even know what MMA was. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Because to me, the only guys I ever went on dates with were martial artists in some form or fashion, or at least athletes of, a high level. And I was like, that's the only way they'll understand, not be jealous of me training with other men, that kind of thing. But Pete actually didn't know anything about MMA. He came and watched me the first time train and was just like, whoa, that is incredible. It's crazy. And I got into the UFC 3 days after having my first date with him.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So
Wow.
kind of crazy story with that. But I'm also a girl who likes feeling feminine in my relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dominant in a lot of areas in life. I am a go-getter, super ambitious. And so I was like, I need a man who's a man,
Yeah.
But he's gentle, super understanding. But I try to be the best I can be about not taking over situations, which is hard for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess the Christian part of me tries to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to let him run this aspect or run this aspect. And he's good about saying, you're better at this. You run that, babe. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. So that's just kind of how we work. Try to keep it pretty equal. We still pay things half and half. And we just work things out as we need to. And once I'm done with my career, or as things change, we just go with the flow and discuss things and communicate really well. But like right now I'm traveling on my own. It's not really hard on our relationship because we get used to it. It's not like I'm always gone or anything, but he hates traveling. I wish I could have him here, but he's like, I don't want to. And I'm like,
Oh
okay.
man.
Yeah.
So
I
I
get
can,
that.
Anna, as you go into that, Anna, I can see it now. I can see you, Miranda, like, okay, pound, 1, 2, 3 count, put a ring on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh my gosh, I got to propose before she, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. That's
I
really
was
cool.
I was gonna say, you said that you lost the bet. It sounds like you won.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
With a great guy like that.
Right.
cool.
She basically was like, if you get submitted tonight in jiu-jitsu, I'm going to set you up a profile. And I was like,
Man,
walking
that's
in last,
awesome.
and he submitted me like 10 times, and I'm pretty sure he was in on it, but he still won't admit it to this day. So I don't.
That's fantastic. Well, congrats. I love it. Congrats to the 1 year. Anna, go ahead with 2. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, sounds it's impressive that you have that part of your relationship figured out so early in a marriage, because I'm pushing 20 years with mine, and I feel like we're still trying to figure out some of those pieces. So
I feel it's always challenging times, right? Like we still have rough goes, and like if I'm gone more than 5 days or so, it's definitely like a point of no return. It's like a little alone time's great, and then we just start going downhill from there. But
yeah, I get that.
all is well. You just get used to different situations, and like you said, like different areas of life call for different things. But I ended up having my UFC debut just a couple weeks into our relationship, which was insane. And I don't know how much you guys know about my history, but I ended up having retina surgeries when I went to go make my UFC debut. And I called him from Vegas crying, and I was like, if you're gonna break up with me now. A nut for the next few weeks, if not forever, And I was like, I'm gonna be upset. I don't know what's going on with my life now. And I got back, and he took off work for like 3 days in a row, even though we didn't really know each other that well. Like it had like 3 dates, and he drove me to all these different surgeons all across the states and really took care of me. And then my dad met him after just like 2 weeks, because he came down for my first surgery and my mom came down for my second. He was the first guy my dad ever talked to or knew. And so that was a little bit crazy too, but they got along great. And obviously here we are.
Definitely a keeper, sounds like, right? That's awesome. There you go.
Probably meeting your dad's more scary than sitting through one of your fights, I would have to guess.
Oh my goodness.
I was very nervous. I was like, Dad, just remember, like, we don't know where this is going yet. So I actually like this guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's 16, so the boy's got to come meet me. So
Nick, I know you have no problem with dates, Nick, around your house, man. I swear, dude. So I need some pointers from you. Yeah, I got a date. You're nope, we're good. We're good. So I love it.
Yeah, I feel bad for her.
It's all good.
No, she's beautiful too. So it's
whole other thing. Anna, go ahead too, if you would.
Okay, so my next question, just because this is you talked about the feminine part of you, so here's my feminine question I'm curious about. So talk to me what your skincare routine is like, because I sweat a lot, and I'm in a gym a lot and up and down off the floor and really close with people, and I struggle with skincare and like acne and sweat and like oil skin and that kind of thing. So I can't imagine at your level of training being on a floor, getting hit in the face and that kind of thing. Like, you have a certain regimen, because you have to do so many promotions all the time and look so pretty all the time that I would.
Well, thanks. You're gonna hear
that you got to share.
Though, unfortunately, I don't have much of one. I actually, I grew up not really being into makeup or anything like that, and so all I do is I shower every time I train, pretty much, which gets excessive. Like I know girls I train with that just like spray dry shampoo, and I'm like, bleh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right. So I full shower, full conditioner, all of it every single time, which isn't necessarily healthy for my hair, but I try to use coconut oil and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about the hair, because while I'm doing that, when I'm in training, and if I know I have to do like 2 hours of training in a row, I just carry like these little like makeup wipes basically with me that are just like disinfecting, and I'll just like and it doesn't necessarily lead to smooth skin, but it leads to clean skin, and I'm like, that's all I care about. And I guess I'm blessed with good genetics, because I don't have too many problems with like like rashiness or sensitive skin, which is something that Pete struggles with, so it's kind of funny.
Maybe I should be asking him that question then.
Hey Pete, where you at, Pete? No, it's good. That's good. Anna,
Well,
those
plus
questions are
I'm gonna turn it sideways, so hopefully it goes all right.
no, that's
Okay.
good.
there you
And those
go.
questions are good though, Anna, and you're spot on, Anna, because Dane and I and Nick, we probably wouldn't maybe never would have thought of that. That's spot on, Anna. So thank you for being ladies first. That's awesome.
Oh.
Obviously, powerful stuff. I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna Dane. We're at the ball games, Dane. Let's do that. Let's bring those towelettes and let's get that
Yeah.
Tell
going.
us,
So
yeah.
keep it glistening, if you will. So
Yeah, towelettes and coconut oil.
I love that.
Got it.
So obviously, no stranger to athleticism and competition. Nick, I have the eating regimen that you do, just not obviously the physical prowess.
Yeah.
So if you, I'm just kidding. Nick, go ahead, man. I know you're next up for the questions, man. So
Okay, well, mine's called a multifaceted question. I mean, being a fighter, sometimes you got to take stuff last minute. Do you kind of stay in shape all year round, like not too far out of fight? And what time, what's the perfect time for you to get ready for a fight? Is it like 8 weeks, 10 weeks? I mean, what would be the perfect training camp for you? The time?
Yeah, the perfect training camp would be for me to find out about 10 weeks out, and I would start training for the training camp about 8 weeks out. I have only gotten to do that one time in my entire career, but I would love for that to happen. Typically, I stay in shape all the time. Like I just got done posting on my Instagram an hour prior to this conversation. Like I keep at fight weight pretty much not fight weight, excuse me, fight camp weight a lot of times, just so if they call me for a short notice, I'm ready to go. I, in my mind, should be able to take a fight next weekend and be ready to go today,
So
and
what's
tell
your
them
walk around weight at?
138 right now. And I try to just
Okay.
stay under 140 and I'm happy, right? To make 126 in about a week, it's not a huge problem. If I'm above 140, it gets a little bit difficult because I know I'm carrying a little too much fat on me, and fat obviously doesn't lose water weight as much as muscle does, right?
Yeah.
So I try to stay pretty lean. I try to stay ready. I will say I was never that way until I reached the UFC. And I should have been. I thought I was tip top shape. I was like, oh, best shape of my life every time I'd fight. But when you get paid to do it and paid just enough that you're like, okay, maybe it's worth it for me to not eat this piece of cake tonight or have this Ben and Jerry's over here, then it's a little bit more motivating to stay fit 24/7 and stay in shape. So I've gotten used to the whole missing meals. I'll still go to parties and things like that family has or whatever, but I'll be the one over there sipping on a glass of water while everybody's eating around me. So
There you go.
No, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And the discipline involved is amazing, and you're doing very well with it. So continue
thank
to
you.
do that.
I appreciate it. But
Nick,
nutrition-wise, I think I eat more than people think about, like obviously I eat a lot to keep up with all my training, like to maintain during fight camps, I eat about 3,000 calories a day. And when I'm not in full fight mode, like probably this week, I'm eating about 2,500 calories a week, at least, or a week. I meant a day.
I got you.
At least just to maintain. And if I want to lose weight, I don't like cut out 1,000 calories or anything. I'll just cut out some of the grams of fat and cut down to around 2,000 calories, and I'll lose weight pretty fast once you have
Awesome.
metabolism going, by eating little meals throughout the day instead of like big meal.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Nick, didn't you say, man, I'm curious on that because I remember we talked to you. You train, is that about right for you, Nick, too, for a competition about 8 to 10 weeks, or that's your sweet spot too, right? Somewhere around there?
Ultimate is 12, but 8 is perfect. Eight ultimate is 12, 8 is spot on. If I got 8 weeks, I can get ready for anything. I try to stay in competitive shape all year round. That's why I was never really, I put a ton of weight on and lost a ton of weight, or lost a ton of weight and then had to put weight back on. So,
I feel you.
Yeah, 8 weeks is about perfect.
I feel you. Miranda, I respect to you because my birth weight was 119. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nick, do you have another one before we move on? Do you have a second question, Nick?
I do.
Yeah.
And I was going to go one way, but I just thought of another one.
Yeah.
I just saw you doing something, and I kind of have a question about it. How did you get into guns, and how long have you been doing that?
So that was my first time ever tactical shooting. I think I did pretty good for that being my first run through. So I did all right. I will say a couple of things about it, though. I grew up with guns my whole life. Like,
sure,
my dad is very, somebody would call him like a military general if they hear all my stories about him, but he's not. He's just very conservative. And I always joke that he was basically raised 2 generations before his time because he was raised by more than anyone. So it's kind of funny. Like I grew up a lot with guns. I wouldn't quite call him a prepper either, but I won't say that we don't have a pretty dangerous arsenal back home. And I grew up knowing how to shoot a gun, knowing how to handle myself. And I probably shot guns more as a teenager than I have in the last 7 years, which is kind of sad, but you know, you move away, and I've been at college and then training in cities, and cities aren't usually much for shooting guns everywhere. So that's a little rough, but they invited me to the range, and I've only gone twice to a range since then, but it's always indoor, you know. And this one was outdoor, and I was like, this is so cool that I'm actually getting to learn instead of just target practice, you know, because target practice I'm great at, sure, no problem. But moving, like, this is really neat to know how to do. Like, I love this, and now I'm into it. I'm telling you, it's been 2 days, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna get this. Dad, can you get some space on the ranch to do this? And he's like, let's get it done, right? But I had a blast. I actually found out that because of my retina surgeries, I can't shoot with a red dot. It almost gives double vision. I kept seeing like 2 guns basically when I looked through it, and I kept missing. I was like, can you just give me iron sights? I want to try it that way. And he was like, sure. And I just bing, 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 bing. And I was like, okay, I'm getting rid of this laser thing. I'm not using it.
So is that the red dot, or have you tried a green dot too?
I haven't tried the green dot yet. He suggested that I give that a try. But the red dot, I think, was just, it almost looked fuzzy to me, like when you're driving at night, you know, and don't have full focus. And that's what it looked like for me. So I'd be like shooting way off just because that's what I was seeing, not because I couldn't aim, you know?
Yeah,
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, I just have one thing to say to Nick, Miranda, and Anna. Do y'all have permits for those guns up there? I had to do it, you guys. These guys are all so small. I'm just kidding.
I do have one of those, like, what is it called? Like national MMA licenses or whatever.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
Some people actually think that's a thing, though. Isn't that crazy? They're like,
yeah.
Do you have to get like a permit, like that you fight or something? And are you like leaving this stuff? Come on.
Where'd you Wikipedia that, right? That's awesome. It's a Wikipedia page. That's a good question, Nick. I love it.
That's good. I love it. That's awesome.
Well, when you get back, next time you're in Vegas, hit me up. Let me know, because I work at range 702.
That's awesome. I'll message you right after this call and get your contact. That'd be awesome.
Good. I'll make sure of it. We'll make sure of that. That's fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. And Nick's tell you one of the most commenting guys. So I love it. Yeah. So thank you, Nick, for that's a good question.
Yeah,
Dane, you want to spearhead into the next part, Dane?
Yeah, I was Miranda. I was just kind of wondering, you know, once you got into MMA and you got into the mixed martial arts and UFC and obviously your background in wrestling, what are maybe a couple of influences that helped you along from your wrestling days up into your MMA? What are some of those influences that helped you along in life?
So fun fact, I didn't start with wrestling, although that's the common theme that everybody finds. I actually started with jiu-jitsu and then decided to like try wrestling in high school. Only did it for like 3 months, right? But hey, I'm fine with being branded a wrestler. I'm not too bad at it, but it's not where I started. But sorry, give me the rundown of the question you asked again. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, what are some of the influences that you've kind of helped you through your career?
Yeah, just honestly past fighters that I've watched fight. And for me, it's not just about fighting and being the world champion one day. It's about using my platform for good. And I try my best to do that and keep my values. I see a lot of people that not only get a big head and get popular or whatever, but I see a lot of girls like, I don't know how to say it without getting everybody to hate me, but to where they don't know their worth in certain ways, right? And I don't want to sell my body beyond putting on entertainment for people doing fighting. And it's almost hard to not do it nowadays. Like it's hard because you can get paid so much just for doing stupid TikTok dances or wearing a bikini and taking a bunch of pictures. And I've tried really hard to not do that, you know, but a lot of my inspirations, like growing up into this sport, were like men who are not even in the sport anymore. GSP was one of my favorites. Brian Stan was never that awesome of a fighter, but he's a really good person in my opinion, everything I know about him at least. So he was one of the kind of inspirations as I grew up into the sport. And now like Michael Chandler, I think that he's a good person, it seems like anyway. And I've met him a couple times and watched him fight. But it's hard to give specific inspirations because I go back and I watch so many fights. Like I do fight studies all the time. I've done all the way from wrestling studies to Muay Thai to actual MMA fighting. But ahead of it all, my biggest inspiration is my dad. My siblings are both there, like pushing me on, encouraging me. My whole family is, my mom's been there since the beginning, encouraging and supporting this. And now it's to the point it spans too. I've had 2 girls that have sent me pictures of them dressed up as me for Halloween. Nothing like that feeling, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just like, wow, the fact that I've impacted someone to the point that not only their parents are good with me being a role model for them, but that these kids see me as somebody that they want to aspire to be in some way. Fans themselves are an inspiration. Like, they keep me going.
You're spot on, Miranda, and Dan and I and Nick will echo this as well as Anna. I love what you said, real quick, Miranda. I got to jump on this because it's a candy stick for me, hot box topic for me. When you talked about not having to sell out what you believe in and just be yourself, I am so big on that. You don't have to do things you don't want to do for people to respect you. You can be yourself, your own brand, and we respect the heck out of that. So I just kudos to you, man. That's awesome. You don't need to be what you're not. Just be who you are, and it's genuine, right? That's we're all about that. So I love that.
Love it.
So many friends nowadays, you'll lose friends. I've lost sponsors. I've lost money, like all of it with that stuff. And people are like, you're so nice. Why don't you have more of this or more of that? And I'm like, I just set standards, set boundaries, and you'll lose some things, but you'll end up gaining so much more. And so, like, the followers that I have that truly support me, the friends that I have in my small circle, like, they're friends that never go away. Like, they like me for my values and my morals. And I'm not just there trying to seek a million likes or go viral every 2 seconds doing something stupid. So it's been hard not to. Even my dad, we've talked about making a persona and being the bad guy or this and that purely from a money standpoint, because it's hard not to. And I'm like, well, one, I just don't want to be a liar, even though the entertainment industry is just that, an entertainment industry. Like, how far do you want to go? How far down that rabbit hole do you finally decide to draw the line? And it's hard. Like, I started a Patreon, and people will message me and be like, can you send me a video of this? Can you take pictures of that? And they'll offer good money, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it, but man, I can see why people would, and it's just kind of crazy.
That's good. That's so powerful, man. Dan, do you have a second one of that? That's
I was just going to ask now. I think I've seen that you're going for a degree in psychology. Is that what you're working on? A PhD there?
I have a funny story with that. I have my master's in industrial organizational psychology. I actually work full-time as Hershey right now, along with being full-time in the UFC. I'm a statistician for them. My degree wasn't necessarily statistics, but I had a focus in behavioral statistics when I went to school. I was always good at math, and love like the organizational side of things. I wanted to be like a business consultant for employee talent and things of that nature, but ended up getting a job at Hershey. They're an amazing company, so I work for them full time now. But my degree stopped from PhD, which I was supposed to go for. I went all the way out to Norfolk, Virginia for it, moved from home on a stipend. So they were going to pay for my schooling while I taught for them, taught the undergrad classes as a graduate student. And they basically gave me an ultimatum, which very frustratingly was only after I completed a whole year of PhD classes on top of my master's classes and was just waiting for my thesis to be accepted. And they basically came to me and told me that my student evaluation, they weren't going to pass, and they were going to make me choose between either MMA or my PhD. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
So I won't blame Old Dominion University as a whole, but it was the department that I was in, like the chair of the department was my professor, and they had like a committee and pretty much accused me of cheating on the call. And I thought it was based on jealousy, because they pretty much were like, we were in grad school and we never had free time to do anything. So how are you able to work a full-time job, do this and do that? We don't think it's right. And you aren't being involved enough in student affairs. And mind you, these student affairs, as you guys probably know, we're just at bars at 7:45 every Thursday night. And they were like, yeah, meet us here. That's our student affair meeting. And I'm like, I don't drink. I don't go to those places. And I'm training during that time. So
I got you.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of those big failures in life, I guess you'd say, that I don't really take full blame for, but ended up getting where I needed to go. And I honestly think it was God just pushing me in the right direction. Like as soon as I got done with that, and I told them on the call, I was like, well, obviously I'm going to pick MMA. Like, I'm young and this sport is a young sport. And as
Yeah.
soon as I did, like things fell into place for me to move wherever I wanted to move. And now I train at a gym that, in my opinion, is the best I could have gone to at the time. And it's great. And I've done really good for myself.
That's
Mm.
absolutely no question.
And how much of the background in psychology has kind of helped you with the mindset of towards your training? How much do you use that in your training regimen?
I feel like I learned more from the way I was raised psychology wise than what any of the stuff taught me. But, you know, psychology plays a role in everything. You know, you get into your opponent's head, like me being almost too nice, I feel like makes them go, what is going on? You know, why are you so happy right now? And I'm just like, oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have these opportunities. Let's go.
Happy to pummel you. Let's go. Happy to pummel you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, here's a nice right hook. I love it. Anna, Anna, before I move on, do you have anything you want to expound on that? 'Cause that's some good stuff. What's your thoughts on that before I move on, Anna? That's good.
No, I can resonate completely with your desire not to basically sexualize yourself into the sport, because and I do more CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting, and so it's the same thing. Like the draw to post a certain way or hold yourself a certain way is extremely difficult. So being someone in the similar situation, also having daughters, I completely respect and also know the struggle.
Yeah.
But also know that there are girls, my two included, that specifically look for those that aren't doing that. You know, I was raised in a very conservative home and probably raising my children the same way, and they just know that they see those things and know that that's very much an insecurity and a desire for.
It's not just an insecurity. It's like this need for recognition that they never got. And if you look at 90% of these girls, I've done a lot of, I wouldn't say necessarily studies, because in grad school, if you write a paper over that, you get in big trouble, but I still did research over it, right? But it was basically 90% girls attest to having no father figure in their lives, or at least for a strong father figure, you know, and I truly believe that's the case. Society a lot of times tries to break down the dominant father figure, you know, toxic masculinity and all that bull crap. And I think that it really leads to like this lack of recognition, lack of like strong figure in their life to where they feel confidence in their self in any way. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is just mental problems to where they're like, this is the easy road. This is my entitled road. And if they don't have a, what should I say, like boundaries of their morals, you know, people are like, I have my own moral code. And it's like, who limits that? Your own brain? Like our brains sinful things. Like if you're the only thing limiting that, then that's not that's not acceptable.
Right. I love it. So the good stuff, man. Well, I'm making notes here. I got a couple pages of notes. Nick, you're a man of awesome words. Anything on that before I move on to rapid, Nick, that you want to say on that? That's good stuff.
No, it's really good stuff actually, and it's refreshing to see, and it's great being that type of a role model, because that is something our society is actually really missing for everyone, not just women, everyone. Yeah. So I'm very impressed. I was already a fan. I'm even much more so now. So
I love it. Funny that we were talking about it, and as we were talking about it, my husband and my dad both called in. I don't know if they're like watching somehow, or if we just had luck of the draw. That while I was talking about that, I was like, no, go back, go to the
That's awesome. No, and Miranda, I'm telling you, again, all respect to we say we respect every opinion, and you know everyone has their own path and all that. But I can't help but say my daughters, I look at you as a role model for them, and I love the fact that you're standing on your merit of your actions, your attitude, your effort, and that's what you should stand on. Nothing else should really matter. It's your attitude, your effort, your work ethic. Those are the things that every human being, male or female, should be judged on. Nothing else, in my opinion. So I love that about you. You know, So there's a segment, you're going to laugh. So I do this every time, and Nick's a pro with this now. And Nick is an old pro. Now let me preface, I didn't tell Nick or Miranda about this, or Dane. Me and Dane know, but Miranda, what this segment is, it's called Rapid Fire. Now for a second, we're going to keep it PG, but we're going to get real weird for a second, okay? We're going to get weird. And what this is...
It's filthy.
Don't be scared, it's fun.
It's not that weird. It's not weird in that way.
Okay.
it'll be clean, but it's weird.
That from the vibe we have going, but okay, we'll see how good I do.
So here's the premise. We're gonna bet. So Anna and Nick in advance. Dane has the picks, but Anna and Nick do not. And what we're gonna do is I'll give the question. And you, Anna, Nick, you guys got to quickly think of what you think the answer is, and we're gonna bet on this. So as I say it, Anna and Nick, you write down what you think the answer is. Okay. So Miranda, the premise is.
then, or wait for them to write it down?
No, they're gonna say it in their heads, and we're all gonna answer after you say it. So here's the thing: we're gonna present a question to you. You've got to present A or B. You have to pick one or two answers, one of the two, and we'll bet like on what we think you're gonna say. We're betting on you. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So this will be on DraftKings later. No, I'm just
It'll
kidding.
be sick. It's sick.
Okay. So, Miranda, the first question. So, a lot of times in athletes and in these days, especially, Nick's played a part. Obviously, he was Thanos and, Avengers. I'm just kidding. So, I'm kidding. A lot of actors and athletes kind of go back and forth and cross-pollinate. So, you're called up by two of these video game franchises, Miranda. They ask you to be in the live-action remake of part 2 of these two movies, and you get to be a part of these franchises, okay? So, Miranda, your first one, you can be Shiva in the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 sequel in 2024. So you can be Shiva, awesome, strong, crazy, like bad chick. Or B, you can be the next Cammy in the upcoming Street Fighter sequel. So Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter live action, which one are you going with?
Mortal Kombat.
Let's go. Okay, so I actually did not have that. I had Street Fighter. Dane, what'd you have?
Oh, I had Mortal Kombat. That's an iconic game. I remember playing that when I was a kid.
Man.
When it first came out. I'm old enough to remember when that first came out.
Darn it. Okay, Anna, what'd you have on that one?
I have Mortal Kombat too.
Okay, dang it. Okay, Nick, what about you?
It's another one from Mortal Kombat.
Man, okay, so you guys are tied. Nick, Dean, and Anna are tied. Got you. So question 2, Miranda. So second one. So celebrity things, again, very common thing in today's world to kind of cross-pollinate. So you're called up to be a part of a celebrity chili cook-off on Food Network, okay? So you're gonna do a chili cooking contest, and you gotta choose one of these two celebrities to be your guest, I don't know, sous chef or whatever you want to call it, to help you cook chili on Food Network. Your options are either A, Bobby Flay, legendary Bobby Flay, or B, Andrew Zimmer from Bizarre Foods. So you can be Bobby Flay's partner or the guy from Bizarre Foods who's going to be your chili cook-off partner for the show.
Bobby Flay.
Let's go. I had that one.
No,
Anna, did you have Bobby?
Who is he?
Oh, who is Bobby?
Oh, really?
Oh,
man. Okay, well, that concludes the episode. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, he's on next Food Network star, Cooking with Bobby Flay. He's a very common guy.
What known about me before this is I just don't watch TV at all,
Okay.
or have. So it's hard for me on the celebrity stuff. But I'm gonna go, because I know the second one, I'm going with the second one.
Got you. Andrew Zimmerman. Okay, Nick, did you have Bizarre Foods or Bobby on that one?
Bizarre Foods.
Okay, let's go. Dane?
No, I had Bobby Flay.
Okay. Anna?
Yeah, I said Bizarre Foods too.
Okay, good. So we're coming back. All right, here we go. So we're all tied up. So Miranda, third question. So in your next fight, so as you're prepping for your next fight, fight cards, a lot of promo, stuff like that. What they don't tell you is your next fight, it's going to be one of those legendary like career benchmark fights. You're taking on Cyborg, and maybe we're bringing back somebody retirement. What they don't tell you have to do your entire fight in one of these two suits. It's not a regular fight. You got to take the octagon in either A, one of those blow-up sumo suits, or B, you got to come out as Kung Fu Panda and do the fight. Sumo suit or Kung Fu Panda, which one are you going to do?
Sumo, for sure.
Let's go. I actually had that one. Anna, did you have that one?
No, I had Kung Fu Panda on that one.
Let's go. Dane?
No, I had Panda. I was going with the Kung Fu Panda.
Okay, got you. Nick, what about you?
Panda. Kung Fu Panda.
Gotcha. Let's
see,
go.
Oh,
I
man.
grew up asking my parents for one of those sumo outfits, and I never got it. I was always like, that'd be so cool, and I wanted to fight my little brother in one and look like little balls walking around, and fight
I
him
love
with
it.
one of those little styrofoam stick things, but it never happened, so I
I
definitely,
absolutely love it.
although both would be super uncomfortable, because it'd be hard to grab those.
I love it. Last one. There's actually only 4. So last one. So, there's a big part of a fight, and Nick can talk about this, or Anna, even in like prepping and training, music is a huge part of every fight, intro songs. Music is what we do. So what they tell you is in your next fight, we're going back to your next fight night, you get 2 of these iconic songs. You have to pick one of these songs and only one of these 2 songs to walk out for your fight in. So here's your choices. Option A is the classic I Love You by Barney. I love you. You got to rock that. or you got to go super old school and rock Sesame Street as you walk out in Vegas. So Barney or Sesame Street, which one you're rocking as you come out for your fight?
Sesame Street 100%. I was never even allowed to watch Barney because my dad thought he was a sicko. So
Let's go. Can you just see it though as she's walking out? Can you tell me how to get it? She's coming out. That'd be awesome.
a lot when I was a kid. I love it.
You'd be two-stepping all the way down the aisle there.
You know what I'm saying? Anna, what'd you have? Did you have Barney or
I thought
Sesame
Sesame
Street?
Street.
I was raised on the streets too, so I'm just saying I had that one. So, yeah. Dan, what'd you have?
That's Sesame Street. Can't go wrong with that one.
No,
Nick, what about you?
Sesame Street too. Yeah.
Dane,
Absolutely.
didn't that come out when you were in high school? I'm just kidding. So, no, totally kidding.
That's hilarious.
I love it. Well, Miranda, hopefully in the interviews you've had, that's a segment you try to benchmark. Hopefully you haven't had a segment like that. So thanks for being in the sport, okay? So
That was great.
love
That
it.
was great. They have like the fast, and it'll be other fighters, and it'll be like, who do you want to survive on an island with? This or this, and like that stuff. And I'm like, okay, try to
Got you.
remember who's who, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
That
So
was fun.
I love it. So last segment, officially, we'll give it back to Dane for what we call open mic. So Dane, go ahead on that.
Yep. Miranda, on this one, we call it an open mic. We open up the floor to our guests to maybe tell some of our younger listeners and viewers that aspire to be in your shoes one day or aspire to get to the heights that they want to reach. Maybe give them a couple of words, maybe a mantra or a philosophy that you've carried through your career to help you get through the different stages. Is there something that you could maybe tell some of our younger viewers to help them along their path as well?
Definitely. And I don't want it to just be for martial artists. You know, I'm big about saying, like, I want to be an inspiration beyond just my sport, or girls who want to go a combat sport. Everything that you do needs to be put in with effort. You know, do the best at whatever it is that you go to do. People always ask me why I was such a dork in high school and middle school and all that. Like, I always did really well on my grades. And it wasn't necessarily that I'm the best genius in the whole wide world. You know, it was more, if I'm going to be having to go to school every day, I might as well do the best I can and make it worth my time. Right. Like, I knew I wasn't going to have college paid for and all that. So I made sure I had good grades. Like, from middle school on, it was straight A's, never got any low. And it ended up paying for my college, both undergrad and grad school, because I decided to work through it hard. And my dad has a saying where you can reach success in two different ways, either out of desperation or inspiration, right? And you better choose the inspiration road, because the desperation one's not great, right? You hit rock bottom and it's only up from there. Like, great, I guess you'll be successful. But it's better to not feel like you need to be entitled or to victimize yourself in any scenario. And I guess the old phrase of pull yourself up by the bootstraps, you know, and just see others. Like, don't have to make the mistakes yourself. Look at others and look at the mistakes they make so that you don't have to, you know. And definitely I've made enough mistakes in my life that I've seen happen, right? I'm like, okay, I watched that happen, I'm never going to do that. And then I step right into the mud puddle just like they did, you know. But do your best not to let that happen, and let the inspiration guide you to success. And success can mean a lot of different things, you know. It's not always fame and money and all that. Maybe it's being a great parent, maybe it's being good grades in school, like whatever it is, right? Just go be the best at whatever you can do. And I'll mention for myself, I try my best to let the Holy Spirit guide me, and I get off course a lot. And sometimes I'll get nudged into the right direction, and other times I'll run off course and have to get hit in the head real hard to get back on the right direction, you know. Try not to have to get hit hard in the head to get back.
I love that.
Wow.
Man, I'm making notes on notes, man. And it's just, Anna, you're so inspirational. And I just love that about you. It's what Dan and I always say when we began doing this, we started off in the very beginning, and Anna knows this, and Nick, we started off doing softball, and then it grew into all these other sports and music, right? The next generation of athletes, especially female athletes, is in great hands. People like you, Anna and Miranda leading the charge for the next generation. We're blessed that we have people like you guys leading the charge, you know? Wow. So,
Thank
well, Miranda, in closing, I know you're a busy lady. We're grateful. It's a privilege to get the chance to track you down. I'll make sure that you and Anna and Nick link up after this. I'll get all that out there. Miranda, please let it be known that this has got to be the first of many. We're a big fan of you. So make it a point, if you don't mind, to come back in the future. Maybe even link you up with Nick or Anna shows or whatnot. So please make this the first of many, and just know we love you and can't thank you enough. Okay. So
Thank you very much. I'd love to.
Of course. Anna, in closing, or Nick, anything in closing from Miranda on that? That's really good.
No, that's great. It was great chatting with you and getting to know more about you. I can resonate with a lot of what you said. So
Thank
appreciate you
you.
being honest and open.
I love
Yeah,
it.
thank
Nick,
Yeah,
anything closing?
I think you're amazing, and being yourself is what's going to sell and do
Mhm.
everything that you need
Yeah.
it to do. You don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to be the Hill. You don't have to be
Yeah.
those things. Just keep doing what you're doing, and the world is going to be there. You're a great example. I would be proud for my daughter to idolize you.
Yeah,
Well,
Love that.
definitely.
Yeah,
I
Here,
really
here.
for somebody
don't
for her to look
get me
up to.
tearing up over here. You can't do that. Thank you guys. Thank you
All
all.
true. All true. Dane, anything before we let her go? Dane, from you?
I just kind of was going to echo what Nick said. I mean, it's one of those things where we tell our daughters, do something great. People will find you. You don't have to go out there and compromise what you are to
Correct.
get their attention. So, and that's what you do. And that's how we found you. And that's how we
Exactly.
came to, that's what you're inspired us. That's how you inspired us by
I'd like to
leading
add on
that.
that, if you don't mind, real quick, just for like 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah,
I
of course.
Dane said is amazing. It's great. Like, don't be dependent on people. Stay on your own road and make sure you know yourself before you go seek others. But on that same tone, nowadays in society, I feel like women try so hard to do that they refuse to let themselves change or be what other people want them to be in any way, especially from a spouse perspective, right? And I see all the time the fluffy little quotes that girls love to share, or guys, guys do the same thing nowadays. But it's like, if somebody wants to change you, get them lost. They don't love you for you, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, there are boundaries to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm willing to change a bad behavior for someone that I love or someone that loves me, then what use am I doing? I'm just shooting myself in the foot and hurting them.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect where I feel like nowadays entitlement's just a huge thing. The whole "you deserve better," that kind of thing, and the whole friend advice. If you get your heart hurt, they're like, "Well, he dropped them anyway," blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's not healthy advice. Don't go sleep with
Mhm.
someone else because this guy did something wrong or whatever else. So just know
Powerful.
that. You guys got me all fired up today. I'm all
No, you're spot on. The one thing my wife and I had to compromise on, Miranda, in closing, she told me she would not be an Oklahoma fan. And 13 years later, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. So that was in our wedding vows. No, I'm totally kidding.
that's
Miranda,
amazing.
no, we love you, Miranda. Feel free to fire up anytime. It's, again, what you stand for, just being yourself and knowing your morals and not backing down and not someone else tell you you can't be great. That's what this is all about. So we love you. Again, we'll make it a point to be in touch again very soon. We watch every one of your fights. So go give them heck. Keep punching them with a smile on your face, and we'll be in touch very soon. Okay.
There we go. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. You have a good night. Okay. Thank you so much.
S2.
Wow. So you're welcome to drop off. So Anna, talk to me, ladies first. Wow. My jaw is like on the ground. Help me out here. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I was hoping what she puts out there and what you see her display in public would match what she said and is about, and it's 100% authentic. So that speaks to me even more of just she is who she says she is, and you don't see that very often either. So
Yeah,
man. Nick, didn't you just, as we expand on that, we were just talking about this last week. Anna and Nick, both of you, we're inspired by you guys because, again, we love everyone. Everyone's welcome. We said that very clearly. But you guys are genuine. And Nick, that I can't say it enough. What she was as genuine as they come, man. What do you think of that? It's crazy.
Yeah, she's genuine as they come, and she's wise beyond her years.
yeah, I was thinking that too.
I mean, she really has a wisdom and she sees a lot.
Yeah.
She might not be caught into the mess, like watching the TV and doing a lot of these other things, but she sees what other people are doing and can learn from them what not to do. And that's a very rare gift that a lot of people nowadays don't have.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat to see that. And it truly is. She's an amazing woman. She's wise beyond her years, and she's extremely intelligent. So this is really a pleasure to see.
Yeah. Dane, don't we say all the time, Dane, when we began doing this, the sport's in good hands. Now an ambassador for the sport. Dane, wouldn't you say? I mean, wow.
Yeah. I mean,
ambassador for life.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to say that. I mean, it goes beyond sports. I mean, you get somebody like that, like Nick said, that looks around and sees the mistakes of others or sees something that, she doesn't want to do. It's one of those things where they get so wrapped up on only what their path is and what they're going to do, and that they forget to look around, that there's inspiration and there's examples everywhere else for all of us to learn. Like my grandfather used to say, you can learn just as much from the guy on the street as you can from, the doctors that run this country, or politicians, or whomever. You can learn from everybody. That's why we all lean and need each other. And it sounds like that's what she's doing, and she's making herself a better person because of it. Not just a better fighter, but a better person.
Wow. I end on this, you guys, and Anna, and Nick, and Dane. I end on this thought where she kept talking about don't sell out who you are. And again, I've made it very clear. Nick knows this. Dane, obviously, we talk about this all the time. Anna, we love everyone, we respect everyone. There's no one that we don't judge anyone. But the fact that's like, hey, I don't have to be something I don't want to be. And whether that's maybe you don't want to be a doctor, maybe you want to be a teacher, maybe you want to be an athlete, maybe you want to be a baseball player, maybe you want to be whatever. Be what you want to be, and let people flock to you for who you are, not trying to chase them. And that's just so powerful, So Anna, I remember you saying this, Anna, you were talking about when you built She Strength, you were talking about how you just began doing what you did, and people loved it for you just doing your thing at the barn. And now people love it, right, Anna? Would you say? Or being yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I was thinking about her comment about where she went and got her PhD and was working full-time and was a full-time fighter, and how they said there's no way she could have done that, and I'm thinking they obviously didn't know her, because she'd be the one person that could. I would bet on her all day, every day. Like, how would you not think she could do that? Like, to me, it would be the opposite. Like,
wow.
Oh yeah, you 100% did. Like, there's no doubt that she did.
That was good, Nate.
Held their own inability against her.
Yeah.
The only reason why they think that's not possible is because they couldn't do it themselves.
100%.
Just because you can't do it doesn't mean somebody else can.
Right.
Nick, you said that as I keep trying to close it, but we get so fun talking. You talked about whenever you were at times in your career as a strongman, Nick. You said that too, where people would say, hey, maybe height or weight and all that, and you prove them wrong time and time and time again, because you can't put a price tag or a gauge on heart. Heart is unmeasurable. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So, wow. That's crazy. Wow. Well, you guys, that was thank you again, Anna and Nick, for joining Dan and I for that. That was our bucket list has turned into a 55-gallon drum list after all this time.
Yeah.
So that was a blast. I can't wait to watch her. And let's not forget, by the way, a humble brag. The girl's 13-2. She has 2 losses in her professional career. That's
amazing.
No wonder, right? I'm just saying, I ain't trying to get in the ring with her. You know what I mean? So, or octagon. But no, on behalf of Anna and then Nick, of course, Dane and I, and all of you listening out there, that was a true pleasure tonight. Thank you, Miranda. Go get them. We'll be backing you up. Can't wait to watch your next fight. Congrats on all the good things going in your life. Again, Anna, on what you're doing with She Strength, and Nick, obviously continue to build your empire with the best experience. Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane?
Thank you for listening.